My name is Jake. At 35, I've just entered the second year of my marriage. I'm an average office worker, living happily with my wife, Olivia, though we don't have any children. No, we don't have kids. There are two main reasons for that. One is that Olivia is infertile, and the other is that I don't want children. These reasons led us to decide not to have children. My reluctance to have children isn't because I dislike them or anything like that. In fact, I love them. But I just can't see myself wanting my own children anymore. A significant reason for this is my previous marriage. I was divorced and ended up separated from my daughter, born to my ex-wife. My ex-wife, Sarah, and I divorced because of her affair. That was about 5 years ago. It was truly hellish. When I found out about the affair, Sarah was already pregnant. But since the affair was happening alongside our relationship, it was unclear whether the child was mine or her lover's. Of course, childbirth involves a lot of expenses. Fortunately, the child that was born, my daughter, was proven to be mine through a paternity testament. However, the world isn't so kind, and even if the woman commits adultery, she is more likely to get custody. Moreover, the other man had more financial resources than I did, and in the court's eyes, a mother and a wealthy man versus a financially average newbie dad was a clear case. I lost custody and was allowed to see my daughter regularly in exchange for child support. But as my daughter grew and began to form her own opinions, it became clear that she wasn't sure how to interact with me. Moreover, when my daughter, Emily, was about to turn 4, I even received a message from Sarah saying, "Please refrain from seeing her as it causes Emily stress." Emily's perception of her father was being rewritten to be the other man. It was also empty. Gradually, my visits with Emily became less frequent. That's why I just can't bring myself to want my own children. To think that my own daughter might forget me. How could such a person be a father? Olivia knows that I'm divorced and that I have a daughter. She married me knowing all this and has always been supportive, never showing any discomfort when I visit my daughter or seek advice on how to interact with her. So I think Olivia has somewhat sensed that I don't want children. That's why we didn't pursue aggressive fertility treatments and decided to build our family in our own way. Then one day, I was in the neighboring town for work and was on my way home directly. It was Saturday, so the streets were crowded. As I walked through the shopping district leading to the station, I saw my ex-wife, Sarah, walking intimately with a man from a distance. That guy was her affair partner. They were talking happily, and Sarah was holding a small baby in her arms. They've had a second child. But that's no longer any of my concern. Sarah should enjoy her happiness, and I should enjoy mine. I suppose the reason I felt nothing upon seeing them so happy together is that Olivia means more to me than Sarah ever did. It must be her presence that has kept me sane. Yes, because I've managed to stay sane, I'm left with one question. Where's Emily? Emily should be around 5 years old now, a preschooler. It's Saturday, and preschool is closed, but I don't see Emily anywhere. Aren't they walking with her? Even though it's already dinner time. I felt a pang of unease, because I hadn't seen Emily recently. But it's not because Emily didn't want to see me directly. It's because Sarah told me not to see her. I had a bad feeling. It was more of an intuition, a hunch. But I couldn't stand it any longer and ended up approaching Sarah and her partner. Sarah. What, Jake? Don't scare me like that all of a sudden. Sarah glared at me and took a protective stance over the baby she was holding, while her affair partner stepped in between us as if to shield Sarah from me. Where's Emily? What? I said Emily, your daughter, remember. When I mentioned Emily's name, Sarah was slow to react. Isn't it strange for a mother to be puzzled when her daughter's name is mentioned? And when I asked about Emily, Sarah started to get flustered. She's, at my parents' house. I see, your parents' house. We were just about to head back there. Don't interfere. Huh, your family home is about 2 or 3 metro stops from here, right? If she is at your parents' place, do you mind if I call? I've been wanting to hear her voice for a while. Don't you dare do anything unnecessary. That's right, you're a stranger now, so stay away from Emily. The moment I attempted to make contact with Emily, both of them started yelling at me with great intensity. They glared at me without even caring that the baby they were holding started crying. Their reaction made me think there was something more to this. But I knew arguing there wouldn't help. Fine. I'll go through the formal procedure for a visit then. Make sure you let us know in advance. We have our circumstances and preparations to consider. Is there a reason they can't let me see her all of a sudden? Feeling almost certain about the suspicious behavior of the two, I left the scene for the moment. I really wanted to check her parents' house right away or head to her place, but glancing back, I saw her partner hurriedly making a phone call. If I start digging now, they might just cover up any evidence. So, I decided to take action a week later. 1 week later, I headed to Sarah's house. I might be turned away at the door, but it's better than doing nothing. With that thought, I went to her place, but there was no sign of anyone there. Judging from the stuffed mailbox and newspapers, it seemed like the house had been empty for several days. Traveling with a small baby. Or maybe going back to her hometown. No one answers the doorbell, of course, so I'll just have to come back another day. That's when I noticed it. Huh. A glimpse through the window. I could see something through the gap in the curtains. A child hand. It definitely looked like someone had collapsed. I rushed to open the gate, entered the yard, and checked the window, only to find Emily collapsed inside the dark room. Emily, Emily. There was no response to my calls or my knocking on the window. Why is Emily collapsed all alone? Out of sheer desperation, I tried the window and it was open. I don't know if it was left open by mistake or if Emily had left it that way. But right now, that didn't matter. I quickly entered the house and picked up Emily. Emily, hang in there. Daddy. Fortunately, Emily soon woke up, but there were bruises on her neck and hands. The sight of Emily in pain nearly brought me to tears. No, there's no time to cry. I need to take Emily to the hospital immediately and call the police. This is clearly abuse. Daddy, please don't tell the police. What? I hadn't said anything out loud, but perhaps sensing something, Emily clung to me tightly and pleaded. Mommy will get in trouble if you do. But your mom is doing terrible things to you, isn't she? No, you can't. No. Emily started crying as if she was having a tantrum. Whether she's trying to protect her mother or has been strongly instructed to do so. Either way, this can't continue. I decided to take Emily home with me, holding her in my arms. Leaving her alone at home would be too pitiful. There was so much going on that I didn't have time to contact Olivia, and she was surprised when I arrived home. Huh? What's going on? That makes sense. Olivia, unable to have her own children, and now my daughter, who's practically a stranger to her, is in our home. I felt terrible for putting Olivia in this situation. However, I just can't seem to let Emily go. I'm sorry, Olivia. Oh, what are you doing standing around here? Oh, you must be Emily, right? Nice to meet you, I'm Olivia. Before I could say anything, Olivia seemed to understand the situation, crouched down, and cheerfully greeted Emily. Her bright voice and smile were so lively, it reminded me of a children's show host, and Emily, though surprised, called out in a faint voice. Olivia. That's right. Wow, thank you for calling my name. Olivia genuinely looked delighted as she said this and invited Emily and me into the room. Since we didn't have any children's clothes, Olivia went out to buy some while Emily was taking a bath, and she was thrilled with her new pajamas. But Emily seemed to have been treated terribly at home, and she looked like she was about to cry whenever we weren't smiling at her. Olivia noticed this quickly and kept smiling at Emily until she fell asleep. While Olivia was putting her to bed, I decided to contact Sarah. She didn't pick up at first, so I kept calling until she did. When she finally picked up, she snapped back, "What do you want? Calling me over and over. It's so annoying. It seems she's at her parents' house right now." "You left Emily at home, didn't you?" "What? What are you talking about? She's right here with me." "I have Emily with me right now. She was collapsed at your house." "What? You just entered without permission. What was she doing?" Sarah continued with her selfish excuses. In that moment, I knew I couldn't leave Emily in Sarah's care. It just wasn't an option. "Emily will stay with me. She's my daughter. I'll protect her." "That's creepy." "Fine, I don't need such a child. You can take her, but give me money." "What?" "Since you are so eager to take care of her, you should at least pay me as a token of gratitude, right?" What is this woman talking about? Is she really trying to trade her own daughter for money? My head was throbbing with pain. Feeling nauseous, I hung up the phone. I had to, or I might have started yelling. Just then, Olivia came back after putting Emily to bed. So we decided to talk about what to do next. "I'm sorry, Olivia, for doing this without consulting you." I apologized to Olivia and explained the situation, but she lightly smacked me. "Where's the need to apologize? You protected Emily. Be proud of yourself." "But I might be causing trouble." "Bring on the trouble. We're a couple, aren't we? It's not a bother at all." Olivia said this with a smile, and I felt so outmatched by her. But there was still one problem. First, we need to contact Child Protective Services. Huh? It's not, huh? This situation is practically no different from kidnapping. Even if you're her parent, you don't have custody rights. Olivia's point made me realize the gravity of the situation. Right, legally, I'm a stranger to Emily. It could become a big issue if it's brought up later. I understand. I'll go talk to them soon. But even as I said that, I felt uneasy. I couldn't take time off work the next day. It was all too sudden, and I could only manage to get time off the day after next. That means Olivia and Emily would be alone together for a day. Today was fine because it was sudden, and I was still here. But from Emily's perspective, she'd be alone in a strange place with a woman she doesn't know. Honestly, I was filled with nothing but anxiety. It's not that I didn't trust Olivia, but you can never fully predict a child's actions. So the next day, as I went to work, I was restless. I managed to talk my boss into letting me leave an hour early, but I was still on edge the whole time. Is Olivia doing okay? Is Emily not crying? I was filled with such worries. When I finally managed to leave work, I hurried home at double my usual pace. But when I got there, Monster Liv is going to eat you up. Monsters are so scary. The first thing I heard when I got home was the sound of laughter. Olivia was chasing Emily around the living room. Ha, they're getting along surprisingly well. Ah, Daddy, welcome home. Welcome back. I'm home. You two are getting along so well. Even though I should be happy to see their bond, I was just standing there in shock. I mean, aren't they getting along even better than I do with either of them? Emily was all smiles, and Olivia looked so refreshed. My worries seemed to have been for nothing. Emily ate her lunch properly today, and Dr. Smith from the hospital said it's okay for her to run around inside the house as part of her rehabilitation. So, Emily, you're feeling better now, huh? Yeah, I love Olivia. I wanted her to say it's all thanks to Daddy, but I kept quiet, not wanting to be outdone by Olivia, and did my best to play with Emily. But kids have endless energy. While Olivia was making dinner, I was already worn out. Playing with the ball, role-playing, and acting as a horse was quite a physical labor. It's tough for an adult after a day of work. But seeing Emily smile somehow made all the tiredness vanish. I thought, why not just play until she's tired? But Emily did fall asleep for a while, but then woke up in the night, all excited. It seems she's used to sleeping on the floor, and the bed was so fun for her. She couldn't help but bounce on it. It's like a trampoline for her, so of course, she's having a blast. But why? Only when I'm trying to sleep does she start jumping. Emily, I want to sleep now, okay? No way. Emily jumps up and down on the bed, creaking with each bounce. Occasionally, she loses her balance and ends up on top of me, making me let out an odd groan. Olivia and I usually share the same bed, but she thoughtfully decided to let Emily and I sleep first tonight. I hadn't anticipated her waking up in the middle of the night. This was the start of the second round of trying to get her to sleep. Olivia came to check on us, saying, she's happy to be with Daddy. Good luck with putting her to bed, with a smile, but no offer to help. Right. I have to be able to handle this much. I've been relying on Olivia for household chores and other things too much. I can't always be dependent. So, I did my best to ensure Emily didn't feel lonely, and so that the three of us could live together, laughing. It was fun, thanks to that. But the days filled with smiles and lively activities wouldn't last long. Because, as expected, when I went to consult with Child Protective Services, they decided to take Emily into temporary custody. It seems the staff also visited Sarah's house, but since I'm not the legal guardian, I couldn't know the details of what happened with Sarah and Emily. There are privacy issues, after all. But it seems there's quite a dispute, and she hasn't admitted to neglecting Emily. In the worst case, Emily might be sent back home. That's the last thing I wanted. But there's nothing I can do about it right now. To intervene, I need to regain custody. This will require a trial, and it's likely to be a long haul. But it's not a decision I can make alone. I wanted to respect Olivia's opinion. After all, Emily is my daughter, and Olivia is my wife. On what we thought might be our last day with Emily, I intended to explain to Olivia that I planned to regain Emily's custody. But before I could even start, Olivia looked me straight in the eyes and said, "You are planning to regain custody, aren't you? Let's do everything we can." What? So, I'll help too. I'll miss Emily too if she's gone. I want to be her mother. That's what Olivia told me. Can you believe it? Even though she's adorable, she's technically a stranger with no blood relation. Taking her in isn't a simple matter. But Olivia was determined. The day you brought Emily here, that's when I thought, oh, if only I could become this child's mother. I thought I could never be a mother since I can't have children of my own. I had given up on being a mother, but I guess I got greedy. Olivia said, looking towards the bedroom where Emily was sleeping. Her eyes were filled with kindness and brimming with maternal affection. Are you sure? Yeah, it might be presumptuous, but I want to continue watching Emily grow up. Olivia's resolve was firm. I felt relieved knowing that. I too wanted to be with Emily. But many obstacles remained for us to live with Emily. However, the first thing we had to do was to say our temporary goodbyes. Emily, we will definitely come to get you. Just wait a little bit, okay? It's a promise. I'll be brave and wait. The next day, we had to leave Emily at the facility. Without custody, we couldn't continue raising Emily, and we weren't prepared to welcome a child into our home yet. Emily looked like she was about to cry as she walked deeper into the facility, and our hearts were heavy. We resolved not to let her feel lonely anymore. We made this decision and took action. We hired a lawyer, Tyler, and filed a lawsuit to regain custody. Sarah's neglect and the fact that she left Emily alone to stay overnight with a newborn were known when Emily was rescued. We also had photos of bruises and burns as evidence, which was indisputable. However, Sarah hired a capable lawyer and dragged the lawsuit out considerably. She would be held accountable if her neglect and abuse were proven, so she fought hard. With solid evidence, we eventually regained custody, but it took a tumultuous year. Tyler said we were lucky it only took a year. We had been visiting Emily and having her home temporarily during the trial, but bringing her home now felt like a long-awaited reunion. After getting briefed by the facility staff, we held hands and headed home. "We're home." Emily was in high spirits all the way and happily exclaimed upon arriving home, with Olivia watching her gleefully. Perhaps she noticed our gazes. Emily turned to us and said, "Daddy, Mommy, I'm hungry," with a smile, tilting her head. We were astonished. Did she just say, "Mommy"? I looked at Olivia, whose eyes were wide, tears spilling out. After all, Olivia had told Emily, "I'll be like your mother, but you can keep calling me Olivia as you always have." Olivia didn't want to negate that Sarah was Emily's mother. That was Olivia's thought, and even when leaving the facility, Emily had been calling her Olivia. "Daddy, Mommy, what's wrong? Does something hurt?" "It's okay, I'm just a little too happy." Olivia hugged Emily tightly, tears streaming down her face quietly. Emily, in turn, patted Olivia's head, saying, "Pain, pain, go away," as if to comfort her. Emily probably doesn't understand why Olivia is crying. But it's clear that Emily has accepted Olivia as her mother. That's why, upon returning home, she naturally called her Mommy. Realizing this, I couldn't help but cry tears of joy myself. It took a long time, but we finally became a family. I'm overwhelmed with happiness and contentment. I hope this happiness lasts forever. With that wish in my heart, I reaffirm my commitment to protect my family.